think I can probably do all of them. Alright, let's get this reading challenge started. I tried to film a 24-hour reading challenge a couple weeks ago and it was kind of a success. I mean, I did it, but I didn't read the books that I wanted to read in it. I had a few different books picked and I decided that after reading like the first and second books I read that I was just gonna finish the series that I was reading, because I started reading the Zodiac Academy and I was only supposed to read 1 book or 2 books in the challenge, and I ended up just doing the whole challenge of reading Zodiac Academy. Now I've finished books 8 and 8.5 of Zodiac Academy, so I only have the last book, book 9 left, but I feel like I need a break. I have been in that world for like 2 weeks now and I have read so many of the books and novellas that I just need to pause and need something different. So we're gonna do a 24-hour reading challenge and we're gonna see how many books I can read in that time, and I want some different vibes. So I've picked 5 books, 4 and then 1 on my Kindle, and I'm aiming to get through as many of these as possible, but like I think I can probably do all of them. The first one is the Kindle book, and I've only seen 2 people talk about this book. I haven't heard too much, and when I put it on my TBR for the month, someone on my booktok account said like go into it with an open mind, like don't look up stuff before reading it and you'll have a better experience, and that is The Veiled Kingdom, and I believe it is a new release, so I want to read that. Also, the book and the cover looks so pretty anyways, so I kind of hope that I like it so then I can buy the physical thing too. Because it's on Kindle Unlimited, we're gonna read it on my Kindle today, and I believe it's about like this princess. This girl leaves her family, I think her family's like a royal family, and flees her home and ends up getting tied up with like the rebellion against her family, but the rebellion don't know that she's this princess, and there's like this whole enemies to lovers type of thing. Basically everything I love in a book, this is what it sounds like. Then we've got Belladonna, which is a gothic fantasy. I wanted to read this in the last challenge, but we didn't get around to it, so we're gonna read that today. The only other gothic fantasy books that I've read are the Shepherd King duology, so I'm really excited to see this because I really enjoyed the Shepherd King duology way more than I thought I was, so I kind of want to read some more gothic fantasy, see if that's my sort of thing. Then we've got a wild card because guys, I've read 63 books this year and they've all been fantasy. So we're picking up a contemporary romance. This is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I actually have the entire Chestnut Spring series up there and I've not read any of them because they were £2 each at the works. So I bought them because they're pretty and I want to read them. But I'm also feeling like I don't want to start a new series until I've finished the Zodiac Academy. So picking up the first book, I feel like I'd have to continue on with the series and I'm just not there yet. It's also not sunny weather today. It is a bit gloomy and overcast. I want cozy reading vibes, and I feel like reading Chestnut Springs I want to save for like summer, for like that cowboy romance type of thing, so we're gonna save that. But another new release, Elsie Silver's most recent book and part of a new series, the Rose Hill series. I know this isn't a cowboy romance, I'm pretty sure this is like a billionaire romance with like a second chance and single dad trope, so I thought this is probably less scary for me to pick up and read. I need something different. We're throwing this into the mix, a bit wild. Then again, we have another book that I tried to read last time, which is The Crimson Moth. I'm dying to read this, literally dying. I think in America it's called Heartless Hunter. I don't know why there's 2 names, but I have Crimson Moth. I feel like everyone is reading this at the moment and talking about it, so I want to get in. There's another book coming in this, but this is the only one out, so that's good. But I did pick up another series, even though I just said I didn't want to read another series, but I have Divine Rivals on my TBR, and because there are only 2 books out in this series, I thought I can handle that. If you watch my book shopping vlog, then you know that I hate these covers. I don't know why the UK covers look like cringy teen illustration books compared to the US, which looks so intriguing. But anyways, I'm very excited to read this. I've heard great things about it and everyone who I trust has loved this, so I think I will love this. So we have 24 hours to read 5 books. I am a fast reader, but I don't know if I'll read any more than this in the 24 hours. These are all like 400 pages, I think 350 to 450 pages long. That is what I have planned to try and get through. I'm also not going to be doing this for a full 24 hours straight, like no sleeping. I'll probably be doing 12 hours today on Saturday and 12 hours tomorrow on Sunday to complete the whole 24 hours because sleep is too valuable and I value my health. So I'm gonna take a sleep break and then we'll pause the timer for any like chats and updates to make sure that we're giving the full 24 hours for reading time. But yeah, this is gonna be across 2 days. So let's go get comfy and set up for reading. So we've sat down. I have a strawberry matcha to get me through today because I've just been having such bad migraines. My caffeine intake has gone down so much, so I thought a matcha was probably a bit of a safer bet today. But we are gonna start the first book and set the timer officially. I have my headphones as well because I can't read with music playing or any other sounds. Like for me to concentrate, I have to have like silence, or I listen to brown noise. And I said in a recent video that I would just listen to like a YouTube video of brown noise. I've recently found in your phone settings, in your control center, you can add a hearing button. And what that does is you can add background sounds. So when your headphones are connected, you can play bright noise, dark noise, balanced noise, ocean, rain, stream. And I like dark noise because that's to me like the closest for brown noise, but it's just on your phone. You just tap it to turn it on, and that is what I've been doing lately because it means I can just like constantly have this on and then no ads play when I'm reading my book. And when I take off my headphones and put them back on, it automatically stops and starts. So if I have headphones on, that's always what I'm listening to. It is the dark noise on my iPhone. Shout out to my brother for telling me about that because I had no idea you could even do that. I don't know which one to pick up first. Orphan as a child, has been really oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll read Belladonna first because then I can pace Wild Love out. Yeah, we're gonna read Belladonna first. First book in this vlog. Okay, and the timer we're gonna set and then just start reading straight away. Chapters in, and by chapter 3 I was already like, I love this book. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm getting the gothic fantasy vibes. The characters so far and the chemistry between the characters, I'm already like, yes, I'm obsessed with it. One of the characters in this as well in the first like couple chapters is Death itself. Imagine this type of like Grim Reaper, but not like that. It's described as like shadows in a human form, and even Death, I'm like giggling a little bit like, hi. Yeah, gonna jump straight back into it because this is fun. This is so good. We are about to hit 1 hour in and I am 103 pages. So I am sticking true to my standard reading speed of around 100 pages an hour, which means I should be able to finish at least 4, maybe all 5 of these books in this vlog. But I am loving this so much. At the moment, it's giving similar vibes to the Shepherd King duology. Like, definitely has that gothic fantasy vibe. I don't know what time period it's set in. I'm so bad at knowing like those type of things, but some of the words they're using and stuff, I'm like, this is a bit Bridgerton-y, but like gothic fantasy. Anyways, I am loving it. I genuinely think I just love gothic fantasies. I think if you enjoyed the Shepherd King duology, I don't see why you wouldn't love this. So I'm excited to keep reading. And I know that there's 2 other books. A second one's already out and a third one's coming out. So I can't wait. I've just had like a realization moment and I think I've put something together in these books. If it's true, I think I'm gonna lose my shit, honestly. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want... Oh my god, this is... I'm getting so excited now. I'm like around 50% of the way through and we are just almost 2 hours in. Like 30 pages left in this. What I thought was gonna happen earlier is just happening right now. But the plot twist of the story I didn't get. Basically, it talks about it on the back of the book as well, is that a character is like poisoned and there's a killer on the loose. So we've just found out who the killer is, and I thought it was someone completely different. Like, I did not get that. And it has been 3 hours and 29 minutes exactly. This one will be finished in just under 4 hours. I think probably another 10-15 minutes. But anyways, I just had to start recording because the ending, oh my goodness, I am loving this book. It's done. 3 hours and 47 minutes later, and I have finished my first book of this 24-hour reading challenge. I finished Belladonna. I'm not sure on the rating that I'm gonna give it yet. I loved it. I think this is gonna be like between a 4 and a 4.5 stars. I just don't know yet exactly, but I really enjoyed this and I do want to read the other books. Obviously I tabbed a few bits. I'm not going to talk about anything that's going to give spoilers, but I do think if you've read One Dark Window or Two Twisted Crowns, then you would like this because they're both gothic fantasies and dark elements with like magic and death. In the Shepherd King duology, there was like the monster and the nightmare living in her head. In this book, there is Death, who is a reaper, and the main character Signa can communicate with him. So it's sort of similar in that sense. Like, it's quite dark. I think it's set in the 1800s and every dog is wanting to bark right now. I really loved this. I enjoyed this. I think now we're gonna do a complete like 180 and go for Wild Love. So I think we switch it up with something a bit more lighter, a contemporary romance, and I do want to read this tonight. I think this one will take me like 4 hours or so, around the same sort of time, and then that way I can save my Kindle book for nighttime so then I can read it in bed, because I prefer to read Kindle books in bed. They're just so much more comfortable to read. I'm gonna take a quick little break now because I need to feed Cooper and walk her and get myself some dinner as well. But yeah, we're at 20 hours and 13 minutes in the 24 hours so far. So almost 4 hours in and starting book number 2. I'm 70 pages into this and I am a little bit obsessed. I forgot how much I love a good romance book. Honestly, this is so good. I'm just like giggling the whole time. Like I can't stop. It's already better than I thought it was. I wasn't sure if I'd be like that into it because it's obviously nowhere near as like high stakes or dramatic as a fantasy book. Oh my god. Yeah, I have a feeling that I'm gonna want to just end up reading all of the Chestnut Springs series books as soon as possible. I get the hype now. I get the Elsie Silver hype. I get it. I love the dual perspective. Dual perspective is one of my favorite things in the entire world. So I'm really, really loving this. And I just love the banter, the back and forth and the teasing, and oh, it's just like everything I love. So I'm gonna go back to reading because I just feel like I'm gonna keep binging this. Just finished Wild Love. I read it in 3 hours and 57 minutes, unless my maths is really off because I'm not great at that. I think I'm gonna give this 4 stars. It was 5 stars for me in like the first half or even 2/3. I'm just not a big spicy book person. I prefer like a slow burn with tension and, you know, good banter between characters, and this book has that. The pace picks up in the last sort of third of the book and it kind of goes a bit from 0 to 100, even though you know it's gonna happen, like you know it's coming. I was still like, whoa, this is a bit intense. I absolutely love Ford and this was so good. I get the Elsie Silver hype now. I get it, I understand it, and now I want to go and read all my Chestnut Springs books, so I'm super excited that I have got them and can sprinkle them in between my fantasy reads. I was going to read This Veiled Kingdom, but the whole time I was thinking of this, especially with like the spicier scenes, I was like, I miss Darius and Tori from Zodiac Academy. So I actually think I'm going to start book 9, but that is like a 1,000 plus page book, and I'm not going to finish that in this challenge because that would take me the full 12 hours and I want to read those other books today. So I think I'm going to spend a few hours getting like a good chunk of the way through it to get through that craving. I think I'm going to have to read that book and pick it up and go back and forth between that and other books, but like I want to get into bed now and read the Zodiac Academy. So I think I'm going to do that instead, and then we'll pick up the rest of the books tomorrow, but I can probably still do another couple hours, another 2 or 3 hours tonight. So yeah. So it is the next morning now and it's Sunday, so I've gotten all cozy and comfy. Last night I read for around an hour and I got 165 pages into the 9th Zodiac Academy book, which is like 15%. I wanted to read for a couple hours and I didn't. I was so tired, so I ended up just going straight to sleep. But it does mean that we have 15 hours on the clock left today. So 3 more hours than I was planning, but I think I'm just gonna jump straight into reading. I think we're gonna read the Crimson Moth first, and I'll try and save the Veiled Kingdom last so I can read Kindle in bed again. But 15 hours, I think we're gonna smash through all 3 books, and then if I have any time left over, I'll jump back into the Zodiac Academy. So that's the plan. I just finished the Crimson Moth. Oh my gosh, I think this is probably my favorite read so far in this vlog. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It just has everything that I love from a fantasy book. It was minimal world building, but great characters. I loved both of the main female and main characters. This is definitely an enemies to lovers to enemies again type of book. There is a second book that's coming out in February 2025, so you are left on a cliffhanger with this. A witch who tries to save other witches from being killed and kidnapped in this world where witches used to rule the throne and then they were overthrown, and then a witch hunter who works for like the new government and like literal enemies. I just loved it. I thought it was so good. I'm pretty sure it's written in 3rd person. The chapters are sort of dual perspective, so you don't get like that 1st person telling, but each chapter focuses on the main female character, then the male character, jumps back and forth, so it still sort of gave me like similar feelings and vibes as it's powerless, but the story is like nothing like it. But I feel like if you have similar fantasy book taste to me, then you'll like this. This was very good. But I'm not going to talk about it for too long because we need to start the next book. So I'm going to start Divine Rivals now. This one I thought took me over 4 hours, but it only took me 3 hours and 13 minutes. Hardcovers are always printed bigger, like the text is always bigger, so even though there's a lot of pages, I just can go through it pretty quickly. But we're going to start Divine Rivals and then we're going to do the Veiled Kingdom, and I'll definitely get them both done. We've got 11 hours, so I'll probably do the 2 of those and then either go back to Zodiac Academy or pick up another book, depending on how much time we have, because this is so much fun. I'm enjoying this. everyone. I have finished this reading challenge as you saw, but I stopped speaking towards the end because it was getting late into the early hours of the morning. Cammy was asleep next to me and I wasn't going to pick up my camera and start vlogging. I also got so far into these books that I just could not put it down. Like, it got to a point where I was thinking, all right, one more chapter and then I'll pause and update, but I couldn't. I kept reading and go, okay, now one more chapter, and I just love that. That is why I wanted to do this reading challenge. I wanted to feel like I'm not in a reading slump. I wanted just some time periods of uninterrupted reading where I could just read my books. I don't even think we spoke about Divine Rivals. I finished Divine Rivals. I gave this 4 stars. To me, it was a cozier fantasy. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. Even though a big chunk of the book is set on the front lines of a war, you wouldn't think it's cozy, but it is, especially for like a YA book. This gives me cozy fantasy vibes. There's something so wholesome about it. Like, even though there was a war happening, it wasn't super high stakes, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't as intense compared to like other books that I've read where it was like, oh my god. It was sort of like, oh. I really enjoyed this though, and I'm definitely going to read the second book. And then we went to my Kindle books. I read The Veiled Kingdom, and honestly guys, it was not good at all. The book cover is so pretty. Like, I wanted to be able to love it so I could buy it because it's so cute, but it just didn't hit. It had like elements of other fantasy books I like. Like, at some points it felt like it could have been going down a similar route of Powerless. There wasn't that many pages in the book, and I feel like for the story and what they were trying to do, it got to a point where it went from like 0 to 100, and then some of it started to remind me of What Lies Beyond the Veil, which was a 2-star read for me. So I gave this one 2.5 stars because they had me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. And then the second half I was like, questionable. There just wasn't enough time to marinate, for the characters to have that proper slow burn, for you to sort of sink your teeth into the story. I feel like it could have easily been double the length and kept the pace of the first half of the book, but when you got to the second half I was just like, whoa, what is happening? I am going to read the second one when it comes out because I am interested to see where it goes, but the last chapter in this book, guys, made me feel so nauseous. It made me feel weird. I don't know. And then I picked up Zodiac Academy book 9 again. I didn't get to vlog it because I was reading it in the dark at this point, but I cried when the book ended. I actually think I only had like 50 or so pages left once the 24-hour timer went off, so I just kept reading and I finished the book. If you're gonna read any book, please read the Zodiac Academy. Please read the whole series though, all 12 books. Big commitment, I know, but those books just, oh, the characters, the ending of book 9, I was so happy. It was just the perfect way to end the story, and it was a 5-star read. If a book makes me cry, it's 5 stars. I don't cry at many books, so to have that much of like an emotional connection and reaction to a book, it has to be 5 stars. But anyways, if you want to see more reading vlogs and want to see me read more books and chat about them, make sure you subscribe for more book content. If you like this video and you want to see me read more, next vlogs are coming, guys. There's more. I just cannot stop picking up these books and just blasting my way through them. So I'll catch you guys in the next video.